All right, so we have the Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway fight just heading in, just a couple of days away, and I'm basically just going to be going through. Love the fact that I figured that shit out. It took me 30 minutes to figure that out. Thank God. All right, so I'm going to be going over how Conor McGregor could win the fight based off of how he was beforehand with the first Max Holloway fight, how he's kind of implemented this style during the boxing fight with Floyd Mayweather that kind of hindered his ability during the third Dustin Poirier fight, and how if he continues that, he could get knocked out brutally by Max Holloway. So, the first fight, Max Holloway, Conor McGregor, still very, very fresh, the two of them. I believe Max Holloway was what, 20? Let me go to the beginning real quick. Hold on. Oh, it doesn't even show it. All right. But you can see right here immediately the stance. He's 50-50 on his front foot and his back foot. But when he attacks, he stays on his front foot during a boxing stance. You can see he's not really putting that much pressure on the front leg. He's staying very light with it. He's able to check kicks. And he's very, very stable in himself, you know? Able to gauge distance very well. And he was able to get the better of him throughout the rounds. You know, you can see he's a bit overextending on his punches. He has to, especially with him being in the 145-pound division at that time. He had massive amounts of power. But you can see he's staying in between his front foot and his back foot. He's staying 50-50. If I could just move my camera real quick. He's staying 50-50. His front foot and his back foot are staying almost the same amount of weight distributed throughout the entirety of this exchange. And it was very effective throughout his run. But then he started getting the money, and then that's when he started going into the Floyd Mayweather fight. Emotions were high. You know, everybody was very excited for this. And this is where you could kind of see a bit of the flaws happen. Staying very plotty, not bouncing around very much, staying planted. And I mean, he had success. It's a boxing fight, first and foremost. But you can tell he's staying on that front foot a lot more. He's staying planted on that front foot. And I mean, it was a boxing fight. He's, of course, going to be going back and forth. You know, you only have two weapons. You got the left hand, you got the right hand. That's about it. But you could tell throughout that experience that he kind of changed his style. It worked up against Cowboy Cerrone. Of course, it was only 15 seconds, and he landed a couple of shoulder strikes. But as he went into the Dustin Poirier fights, he started getting a bit more into the front foot. You know, he started getting a bit more comfortable staying on the front foot, keeping his weight towards offense rather than defense. And it kind of costed him throughout the entirety of the experience. I need to figure out how to do that better. For instance, during the Dustin Poirier fight, McGregor, he's staying very heavy on that front foot. Very heavy, very plotty, and it looks almost nothing like how he was. Like, look at that. Look at how light he is. You see that? See the footwork that he has? He's keeping his feet active. Whereas here, it's a lot more plotty. It's a lot more slow, a lot more labored. And this is my thing, is I feel as though when he was in the 145 division, especially early on, a lot of the times when people backed up, they backed up straight. They never really did it at an angle. You could see right there, he did go off on an angle. But you can see they go backwards, straight back, and then they circle around the cage. You could tell a lot more with this Dustin Poirier fight. He's able to get a little bit less successful because Dustin Poirier is going off to his left the entire time, off to his right. veering away. Whereas here it's night and day. You got to be real with me. It's night and day. Like, look at that. Look at that. Very different. And he got caught right there. Now, another thing I think he could do, wrestle. Wrestle Max Holloway. Make him tired in the early rounds. Get used to being back in that cage. You've been off for 5 years. If he goes to the wrestling like he did in the first fight, I think it would be very beneficial to him. My worry is, though, is as we look at the Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar fight, which happened during COVID, I believe it was 2020, 2021, he was styling up on Calvin Kattar, who is also a boxer in his own right. To be fair, it is at 145, not 170, where they're going to be fighting this weekend. But you can tell he's veering off at an angle during his attacks, and he's a lot more composed than he is here. Here, he's not too composed. He's staying away, fearing the power throughout the entirety of it. Whereas here, coming forwards. And so this is just my 3 bullet points that Conor McGregor needs in order to beat Max Holloway. 1, he needs to wrestle. 2, he needs to be back to his old form. Back to the old Conor, where he's light on his feet throughout the entire time. Very efficient with his energy. And he's not going to be rushing to try to get a knockout. He's not going to be, shoulders. Yes, he's not going to be shoulders squared up. He's going to have the shoulders cocked back in a bladed stance. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a dire situation, but at the same time, we got to realize that this is Conor McGregor. We can never count the guy out. So this is just my breakdown of how I think that Conor McGregor could win this fight. And here in a tiny bit, I'm going to make a Max Holloway fight or Max Holloway breakdown of how basically he could win, which is a lot more than what Conor McGregor has. So I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.